Are you ready?
Welcome to Circle Gratitude. Good morning, good evening, good night to all. What's going on, Brother D?
What up with you, man?
Oh man, it's all good, bro. All good. Look like our other co-hosts kind of they taking their time a little bit, but it's all good.
All good, all good.
Yeah, man. Man, how was that day, brother?
Man, scorching hot.
Yeah, man. I already know, man. I already know. I know. Hey, Sister Frankie, Johnny. Hey, Sister Sexy May. What's going on with you ladies? What's going
Shout
on,
out
Brother
to the
Chris?
ladies.
What's going on, Brother Chris? I guess he
Not
in it.
much, not much.
Nothing much,
Brother
nothing much,
Chris.
nothing much, nothing much. All right, man. No much, nothing much. All right. Way to go, man. Say, man. Look here, man. How was your day, Brother Chris?
Oh, it was fabulous, man. It was good.
Oh, man. That's all, boy. Fabulous is, boy. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one, brother. That's a wonderful thing. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, man, look here, man.
Everybody.
Hey, sis, sexy May.
TV.
Yeah, man. How you doing? Yeah, man. So,
I'm doing good, everybody.
good deal, good
Hey,
deal.
hey.
That's always a good thing. That's always a great thing, actually. So we were going we gonna have an open chat. We definitely but it was a certain subject. I talked to a friend of mine and it was brought to my attention that they were dating, and a gentleman kind of not I wouldn't say expectations, but he told her there's three rules that he has, which is nothing wrong with the rules. I get the rules, but it's like fresh. It's like a couple weeks or whatever the case may be. So something came across my mind and brought me to a subject that I think people that's single or dating or just doing them or whatever. You know, what is it? Some things that I would say. Um, how can I put this? The question was, at what level of dating do you start setting higher expectations? You know what I mean? So, I mean, what would you guys think about that?
Um, Probably like depends on how long you've been dating, but probably like say 6 months or a year in a relationship. You know, I mean 6 months to me, because you're like, okay, we've been dating 6 months, exclusive. Something like that. Maybe a year, but 6 months to me. What you think, D?
Man, I don't know. I think when you get to feeling and how y'all talking and how y'all vibing, man, at that moment, it's just like falling in love. You really don't have no date on when y'all gonna fall in love. Is if you can see yourself, dating this person, I think that's probably when you start slowly showing somebody who he is, layer by layer, and what you expecting, you
Right.
know.
I mean, but now this is what I'm saying. Now you're gonna have your and we're basing this now on today's some newer relationships, like today's relationships. And I'm not saying that the past relationships didn't work, because Chris got 20 plus, you got 10 plus, I got 15 plus. So we knew, and we still at this level in our relationship, and now we're married. So we know what, sometimes some things like this sometimes discuss, some things are not. But you walk in with expectations. But what I'm saying is, when dating, I mean, what level of you dating do you set higher? You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have, like I said, you have expectations, but higher expectations. You know what I mean? Because you think about today's times, like we talked about this a while back, that
Well,
it's
man, if you talking about it like that, then if you really think that, not just you, but I'm just saying, just speaking, if that person feel like they can see themselves being with them, I feel like you should kind of start, like I said, letting them know in the early stages then of what you expected. Especially if y'all, already, if y'all already having sex and swapping fluids, shit, you might as well start putting it on the table.
yeah, and I get it, and that is a thing, but you would, I mean, the thing of it is what I mean is, and I guess you level up in a relationship, you know what I'm saying, and because some people consider themselves dating even though they're boyfriend and girlfriend for a period of time, they still consider that get dating.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
they do. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, we're dating, but in reality, you're in a exclusive, like Chris said, exclusive relationship.
yeah,
So what point do you start saying, like say for instance, a person don't you can't put a time on love, but you got some people that be together 6 years before they want to decide to get married. Some people be 6 months and they ready to get married. So it's like I said again, like we say, it's not a wrong or right answer to that, because everybody have different expectations in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It might be like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, and then they start putting time limits on. Okay, well, if you don't do this by a certain time, then we can't continue doing what we do. But at what point do you feel that? Why would it be a part of you putting a time limit on it? Because I mean, you can't tell a person, you can't say, well, you should love me in the next month. It's all about the characteristics of that person. You know what I'm saying? How much time you spend together, what do you do, in between it? Are you traveling together? Or, at some point, because like you look at some relationships, you're dating 1 minute, or you're messing around 1 minute, and then now 2 weeks later, y'all moving in together. But did you take time to learn that person or know that person? You see what I'm saying? So it's different scenarios and different situations, because nobody's situation is going to be the same, because there's no certain magic number in order for you to say, okay, well, I'm gonna do in 6 months, we should do this now, as meaning as accomplishments. If you're together and you like you said, like you guys said, you decide to take it to the next level, you know what I'm saying, or you feeling that person or whatever. Like you said, sex is inevitable, you know what I mean, when it comes to certain things, because some people could be with somebody and the minute they have sex, then the whole relationship change.
all relationship time.
So you know what I mean. So that can play. It could be detrimental. Sometimes it could be good, and sometimes it can be bad. So I don't know. And you know what? And I'm not trying to mute none of you, neither one of you brothers, but I just want to hear from Sexy May. Sexy May, can you chime in on this? She there? Yeah.
Okay, now say that again. I'm doing like three different things.
No,
I'm trying to listen to you. I'm listening to my DJ and I'm watching TV at the same time.
you just multitasking, huh?
Yeah.
So the question was is even though that at what level of you dating do you set higher expectations in your opinion?
Uh, in the beginning,
Okay.
for
Can you
me, in the
elaborate a little bit?
beginning, I had to learn in the beginning.
I mean higher expectations, or just expectations in general?
Expectations in general.
Okay. Because like I said, so say for instance, you dating in the month, you tell a person, oh well, look, what I mean, I got bills over here, need you to pay. I'm not saying that you particularly, but I'm just giving an example. You know what I mean? Because it seems like that's what some people might do, you know what I mean? Or you
Right.
need, so I'm saying, so that's why I was explaining to D. I was telling him, I said, yeah, you do have expectation when you walk in, because somewhat, I mean, you're supposed to know exactly what you want when you get to that level of starting dating. Because you might say, well, I ain't dating nobody. You know what I mean? But then you say, okay, well, I'm gonna get back out there. I'm gonna put myself back on the market, and I'm gonna start dating. Now, at what point do you start, saying, because like I said, you're free to do what you want to do because that you're single. Because now dating in old terms would mean you date. When you date that you could date this person, that person, this person. You might be exclusive if you decide to lay down with a person, but at some point you're gonna still be dating, or like some whatever, until unless you just meet one person and that's the only person you're gonna date. So when you're saying dating, are you dating a couple people, or are you just dating one particular person that you're interested in?
Now, if I'm dating, I'm gonna date just that one person. I'm not gonna date 2, 3, 4, 5 people at one time.
So
Mm-mm.
now there again, what's your definition of dating?
A person that I was getting to know, want to go out with, hang around for a minute. I wouldn't sleep right off hand with them at first, though. Mm-mm.
Right. No, I get it. But I just wanted to hear a woman's input in this, because
But some women will sleep right off hand with a person, though, with a
they do
person.
what
But I
now?
wouldn't do that. Because that'll make me feel that person think I'm easy, and I'm far from easy.
No, I understood, but I mean, it plays a part, in some relationships. You know what I'm saying? It's actually it's required at the beginning, or maybe after a
Mm-hmm.
certain amount of time, because you've heard the saying, oh, it's a 90-day rule, it's a 6-month rule, or whenever you feel like you decide that you want to be exclusive with that person.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, because you don't, like you said, you don't want to step off and do it all front, because guys, honestly, sometimes in the mind of men, it might feel like you might be easy or whatever, but who's to say? But you grown though. So I mean, why would I'm not saying you particularly, but I'm just saying you're grown. So if you decide to do it or not, that's on you. Now, what consequences
Right.
might come behind it might be a different story, because is the person going to
Right.
respect you, or they're not going to respect you? You see what I'm saying?
Right. Because some men say, "Oh, I like you just to get in your pants, too, though."
Right. So but anybody, hey, what would you think about that, Chris and D?
The
Hello.
thing,
Oh,
I think I was too much. I was like, she got a valid point in the beginning of a relationship, but I really truthfully think that when you say like giving them I don't know, it depends on what you're talking about. It could be like expectation for sexual, or what they got to do, or or expectation on a lot of things.
yeah.
A lot of
I mean, okay. So let me ask you this question, because, like I said, this is open chat about different things, so we can skip around. So, at what point do you start speaking about something as far as sexual?
Shit,
most
you don't
people
never
do
speak
it in the
about
beginning.
sexual. Yeah, you ain't gonna speak about it. It's gonna happen. This is gonna be that connection. Somebody gonna try to make a physical move. You know what I'm
I
saying?
would I would
It's
agree.
always like that. I mean,
Hey,
that's what I
hey,
always
put that
thought,
on the
because I've
counter.
never actually went up to a woman and said, "So when do you think we'll actually be ready for sexual action?" You know what I'm saying? Shit,
No,
you
no,
try to
no,
make
no,
your move. You touch in a certain spot. You try to, how it go. Yeah,
no,
we
no.
ain't
And I
doing
get that.
we ain't doing no talking.
Right, right, right. And I get
Well,
that. I'm not. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be. I mean, it should be, but I'm just asking. I mean, it's just a question or whatever. I mean, because a lot of people, it shouldn't be a main topic at the beginning. I don't think you like you said. I don't even think it should be discussed really, but it becomes a part of discussion. You know what I'm saying? Because some people might be trying to feel and see what level are you sexually. You know what I mean? Far as the you know as they call it, freaky or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You might have a person that say, how many people you've been with. I
Well, I
mean,
mean, that's true.
you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say it's directly a directive of sex in general, but I'm just saying you still would want to know where's that person, you know, as they call it, what the young people call it, body count. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So that's something that I would think that would have to be a discussion, because because who's to say that if you find out a person been with, say, 20, 30 people or 100 people, whatever the case may be, would you want to continue your relationship or your dating, you being dating? You know what I'm
True,
saying?
because
Huh?
no, I was saying because you know, I mean, it depends on like a conversation. Like you could be talking to a person for a week, and then all of a sudden sex comes up. Because two grown adults, you're gonna talk about it. You know, you're not gonna just beat around the bush. Y'all two grown adults. How long has it been for you? How long it has been for you? How long many parties you had? You
Well,
know, have you done this? Have you done that? That's a conversation piece.
yeah, absolutely. I would agree. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I brought that up, because I think that it would, if at some point, even in the early stages, it might come up, but maybe not directive as a person. Because honestly, let's be realistic. When you meet a person, you ain't say, man, I bet you that summer gun got a mind on her. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you see a physical attraction, right? Or a woman say, girl, man, he look like he's smart as hell. You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't do that.
You get what I'm saying? So it's going to be a physical attraction. So in your mind, men and women, and which I found out, is this true sex in me? I want to ask you a question. When you see a man, do you know, if you feel like when you want to go there with that man?
Yeah.
Okay. See what I'm saying? So and we think it's just us because we see a big behind or a big chest or whatever the case may be. But I think women think in the same sense, in a sense.
Yeah, your mom was looking for you. Right.
Huh?
Your mama was looking for you.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So, but then, like I said, so it goes back to the expectation part of it. You know what I mean? So, and then, it seemed like, okay, let's go to another subject. How about what's required of that other person too while you're dating?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because that plays a part too. What's required? You know what I mean? These are all the subjects that we touch on because the simple fact, it's all a part of dating and relationships, marriages, whatever, but still at some point, even as when you would say it seems like some people say it's a difference between you being, as they say, boyfriend and girlfriend versus you being a husband and wife. As a husband, as a girlfriend, you might not require some things. Then when she became your wife, you require some things, vice versa. With a woman, she probably didn't require certain things from you as a boyfriend, but she required more from you as a husband. So that means they might be considered until they get to that level of marriage. Then the expectations go higher. You kind of see what I'm saying? If that makes sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it do, and I just kind of feel like it's just some things like that. It's gonna be understood because y'all gonna both want to contribute and do your part. Whether it's a marriage or a relationship, it's something that y'all both wanted because that's why y'all in it. So I kind of feel like those are the rewards, man. You putting in on something that's a part of you that y'all did together. So I honestly kind of feel like there's really no time say when we're gonna do this. It's you know, it's if y'all agreeing to it and y'all feeling it, I kind of feel like, you know, that's what it's gonna be. When y'all want it to be publicly known, it's something that's gonna be discussed between both parties, and y'all gonna do it together.
Mhm.
Right, right. I would agree. I definitely would agree.
I agree. I think also I was just thinking expectation when you dating a person depends on where you met the person. 'Cause you can meet them at a church and you think, well, I'm whole, church, or you meet them at the club. Two things, or
Nah,
grocery store. Your expectation different.
not Chris. Not Chris.
No, I'm just thinking.
Oh no. I'm not disputing anything you're saying, bro. And I would agree. But now here goes the thing. Now we know this back in the day. Who was the wildest people that you knew?
Church people.
My point is that. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Not saying that's every church girl, every church guy, but at some point, especially I done seen the pastor's daughters. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, let's be realistic now. But those are the things that So I get what you're saying, but you know, I guess like I said, I would agree. I think it depends on the person. You know what I'm saying? The people that because at the end of the day, my thing of it is if you're in a relationship or you're dating or y'all kicking, whatever you want to call it, long as it's agreement between you two, it shouldn't matter what everybody else think anyway.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So if y'all go and meet today and go lay down tomorrow, guess what? It's nobody's business but you guys. You see what I'm saying? And as long as y'all agree with it, and y'all, because I know people that probably had one night stands and probably been together, and I know somebody's been together 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? Somebody been together as I had like me. I was with somebody 16 years. I'm in my second marriage. So it don't matter if it go to that level. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the way you started off, sometimes like you said, Chris, I would agree. So the way you started off is sometimes the way it continues.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Because I said me and my wife we met at the club, and it wasn't like our expectation. I guess she already saw me what I was doing, so she knew what I was about. I saw her in a different light, but she already know what I was about when I was there. I had many friends, so she probably thought one thing, like that's all he wanted, whatever. But we didn't talk about the intimacy part till probably like 2 weeks later.
Right.
It was like we back. This was back before cell phone. We had I had a payphone next to my apartment, so I would call her, blase. But we and then the second week we went out, and then the second week we started talking about that.
Right.
But it was more. It was never intimacy right away. It was more like truthfully, we talked about family. Like she's a family-oriented person. I was a family-oriented person.
Right.
I said I love my family, my aunts, my cousins, my uncles, everybody. We love each other. We might disagree, but we love each other. Right. So she was telling me the same thing about her family. Right. So that attracted us both. But then it was more of the sex part came later. Now expectations, I know her expectation of me was very, how can you put it, different than most of the girls I dated.
Hey KC, what's up, bro?
But what's up, bro? Straight. But most of my expectation was totally different for her because I never dated a girl like her, a woman like her.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just telling expectations and what we thought of. But I mean, like 6 months down the line, she had her expectations of me, I had her expectations, vice versa, and we kind of like made it happen. Right. D know, but he been around it.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So I mean, so the expectations of what is and I'm gonna go back to required. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people might require stuff I'll rip, you know what I mean? Now, here goes one requirement I think that everybody from a woman and a man can speak on. is one thing about you, regardless of what you do, still respect me. You know what I'm saying? Give me my respect. I'm gonna respect you. You respect me, and that's mutual with a person you just even having a conversation with. You know, but those are the type of things that whatever. But then you got to think about the different levels that some people have came across too. Because what they do is they might say, well, if we do one thing, now we're together. We are a couple. You see, I mean, I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? And if you see memes about it, you see skits about it, but it's true, man. That when you take it to a certain level, and it started off one way, but it end up being a different way. You see what I'm saying? And you be like, oh, well, no, oh, we dating now. Oh, hell no. When you moving in, that type of stuff. I mean, but it's just different things like that. That occurs, man, and we, it's just, and I think today's society. So, Casey, I dropped the link. I want to ask you a question. If you or are you busy? I want to ask her because when her and her husband was met, I just want to know something. I dropped the link. Yeah, but yeah, man. So, but those, what I'm saying, I guess it goes back to what's required, what's expected of you. You know what I mean? Whatever. And I think women have their expectations, and then men have their expectations. But let's be realistic about things, bro. I mean, and I'm not saying every man, because some men have, we do. As you get older and mature, you have more morals and values. You know what I'm saying? Being with your wife, being with a person you with and been with for many years, it's a thing of, that if a person can't replace those, you ain't thinking about being around nobody else, but that your wife ain't got nothing to worry about, because if you don't think nobody at this point can step in your wife's shoes. You know what I'm saying? Of what she gives to you day in, day out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's some things that I think that people have to realize and understand what they're doing. And then at some point when people say they have expectations or they have what's required, but they really don't know what they want. And then how many times have you heard people say, oh, I thought I wanted that, but I really don't. I want to be in a relationship. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. But really, in reality, you still want to be single. You still want to run the streets. You know what I mean? You still want to date who you want to date. But you just saw, you was living in the moment.
Yeah.
Or the first 2 weeks or a month or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And now it didn't got boring. Okay, I didn't conquer that, and it sounds horrible as it sounds, but it's just true. I mean, I didn't conquer that, so what I need, I ain't got to prove myself. Because some people, they get, like you said, goes back to what we talked about a while ago. People get complacent. They do what they do to have to do to get you, but after they get you, they figure they don't have to raise the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't have to raise the bar, huh?
That part right there.
You see what I'm saying?
Once they get you and got you in the web, that's it. Party over. Lights out.
Yeah, and so that's some things that some get comfortable in their situations. You know what I'm saying? But some things like my dad always told me, the things you do to keep them, the things you got to do. Things you did to get them, you have to do the same things to keep them. You know what I'm saying? And it's might be some requirement, and it might just be in you. Like I think some women are nurturers by heart. You know what I'm saying? Compassionate and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some of them about, whatever. I mean, unless they've been hurt. But even then, they love hard. You got some women that love hard. You got men that love hard. They cherish the ground that their woman walk on. You know what I'm saying? Which that's the way it's supposed to be. But then I think it should be a mutual thing between both. nothing. I don't think nothing when it's in a relationship and it comes to love and caring and compassion. I don't think it should be one sided in any situation. Not even a little bit. You know, I mean, because when you have one sided, man, you never want the one or the other. Huh? What you say, D?
Oh, I didn't say nothing.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it should be anybody to feel unwanted, unappreciated. You know,
But you know, when people start feeling that way, man, they got to start saying something. You know, a little bit outside the conversation, but they got to start saying something too. Because if not, that person's gonna think that this is okay and this is fine. You know,
But
that's
what
another
if you
thing
say
too.
something and they still keep doing it? That means you walk away, right?
Um, you can, yeah, if they keep doing something that's irritating you, I would say first bring it up. I mean, not just walk away because they might not even know what they doing is causing the issue. So you got to definitely address it. You know, you have to, even if you feel like it's going to start an argument, and it has to be brought out. This the only way things going, to get ironed out and leveled off.
It's reciprocity. Reciprocity. What you give me, I want to give you. What you
Yep.
get,
And that's what I'm
get.
saying. When you address it and you address it more than one time, and then they keep doing it, then what do you do?
right, right. But see, here
I'll be
goes the
right
thing
back.
now. Okay, so here goes the thing, and it's another thing I that I've seen in situations that I've had discussions with people about. Now, D mentioned something that was very valid about addressing things. But here goes the problem with some of them situations. If you are more infatuated with a person doing for you, then at that point you don't want to say nothing because you think you're gonna mess it up. And I don't agree with it, but that's the way some people are. They or they fascinated by it. What if a person got money or if a person has a good career and they piggybacking off it because you do have opportunities out there. You know what I mean? You have people that seek and look for opportunities. As well as Chris going, him having a business, Strick having a business, D having a business, I'm having a business. We look for opportunity. But when you got people that are just opportunists by nature, they're going to continue to try to find opportunities. You know what I'm saying? And I think I've seen from the way relationships has been brought up or talked about as far as dating, whatever. I mean, I don't think that people really get the understanding of what it is about dating anymore. Like I said, like Sexy May say, she said when she dating when she's around a person, she's not dating multiple people. She's dating one person. Now, would anybody else say what is your definition of dating?
I guess I dated multiple. I went out with multiple people at multiple times, so I can't say. I guess going out to eat or going to the park and talking to them. I don't know. That's what I think of dating. But I did that to multiple girls in one day. So I can't. I don't know.
So Chris, you was a hoe, huh?
There you go. I had a whole dog card I used to hand out to girls. So
Okay, just clarify.
hey, that's just how I was. And they said we was dating, but they knew that I wasn't. I was like hanging out with people. Don't mean I was actually intimate with them, but they knew I was just going out with other people.
Now, let's be realistic. Now, you wouldn't. So, in your mind, you think that these women truly believe that you wasn't having sex with any other woman?
Yeah, I would tell them like, no, I ain't doing nothing with that girl.
You ain't gonna
No,
tell them you make them. Now, I'm not saying, Chris. I'm not doubting there again. I'm not doubting you in any kind of way. But I'm just thinking in the minds of what women would think that if you are dating multiple women, that you're not exclusive with none of them?
There was a couple. There was a couple women. A couple women just knew. Nah, they wasn't even taking it that level. I couldn't go pick them up. It was more like I'll meet you somewhere. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It was like that. So
okay. Yeah, I would agree, Casey. It was dating should be about seeing yourself in the opposite person. Yeah, that is the case. But I'm talking about what about today's dating? Would you consider that's values and morals? Because of course we are older in our generation and we have more maturity, even more. Women think maybe a little different than we probably would think. But then I think the new age, I think they're on a different level. Sometimes they think like they treat it as like men. They could date multiple men, they can be around different men, and it's no problem. Now you got some that be exclusive with one man and then might date others. But at that point, if you lay down with one, I mean, how did that play out? How would that play out, Sex Me? I'm asking from a woman perspective. Not saying you would, but I'm just saying, how would you think, as talk to your girlfriends or whatever the case may be, how would that work out in being with dating multiple men? Because I've heard some situations where I heard women say, well, I got one guy for the money, I got one guy for he's a mechanic, I got one guy can fix everything, I got one guy, you know what I'm saying? But not necessarily saying she's sleeping with all of them, but it's just the point she got a man for every different type of situation.
Right. I mean, to each his own. I had a friend that was dating a couple of guys at the same time. I mean, that's what she wanted. Did she do it? I couldn't do that though. I mean, I guess it's just not me. But I didn't look at her no different because I knew just what she was doing, just how she was. And like she told me, she's like, I'm dating both of these guys because at the moment I don't know which one I want to be with. And I don't know which one's going to treat me.
I mean, I have a question for the ladies. I will have a question for another lady. How do you know what type of man you want if you don't date multiple people, or do you look at all the qualities in that one man?
I do.
So you looking at all the qualities in that one man.
You think about that person. And
no, Casey, I understand. Say what now, sis?
And if I could see if it's going to even go to a relationship with that person,
Right. I think, Casey, I think I'm out the dating scene because of course I'm married, but it's just the point of we just speaking in general about, because he said that people don't want to date no more, they just want friends with benefits.
Right.
Okay. Some people might do that because they had bad experience in relationships. They got some people do it because they've been hurt a lot. You know what I mean? So it's different reasons why they do what they do. Now, again, you're a grown individual. I can't judge you on what you decide to do because I'm not going to go in there and say, hey, guess what? Hey, just guess what, Chris? Look, hey, guess what, Sex Man? Since you doing that, that's not right, but I'm going to pay your bills and take care of everything for you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not right. That's slim to none. But people
like to that same conversation you was having with what's her name? And she said that her husband go out and come in when he wants to. They go right back to that same conversation we was having. How you know your husband not out there cheating on you or with somebody else?
Right. And then so let's talk about this. Now I've seen now, and I didn't know nothing of it until the past maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years at the most, maybe even less actually, about these poly relationships. You know what I mean? Where you got two of different, two of same sex in the same household. Well, 3, where you got one woman and 2 men, or 2 men and 1 woman, or one man and two women. And then I mean that's something they're doing also. Or the let's have an open relationship. To me, that's ludicrous because I mean you might as well go and be single. Why would you want to have a open relationship? But then I start thinking also that it can be about because the benefits are there. Why would you leave the benefits? And a person is going to agree with you having an open relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
that's the new thing now.
I
said that's stupid. That's the new thing now.
Yeah, that's the new thing. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So that goes back to dating. You know, like I said, some people can be together 8, 6, 7, 8 years and still saying they're, oh, we just dating.
Yep.
But y'all living together, y'all done had 99 kids, and you talking about y'all still dating. Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
That's some Hollywood stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, oh, but we still dating. You know, we just dating. You know what I mean? Y'all done bought different things. Y'all done lost little things. You done bought more things. Y'all done built this, built that, but y'all still dating though. Yeah. I guess people don't know. I guess the point of it's a game of words, I believe. You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, really, I mean, do really people just sit there and say, oh, you're, you know, like if you if you say I'm dating this guy and y'all been together, whatever. Or sex man, you're not dating, you're together. You know what I'm saying? Now, how I'm gonna tell you what you're doing? That's
Right.
what you and the person you with. If y'all dating, y'all stick with that. You know what I mean? But there again, you know, old school values, old school, all that's gone out. I mean, values and morals is not in it.
They gone out the door.
Yeah, that's been gone out the door because, like I said, it's you know, people say, you know, I mean, I've heard so many things called sexual now. I don't even know transsexual, pansexual, staple sexual, this sexual, that. Only thing I knew back in the day is homosexual. If you are a homosexual, that's what you was. You was a homosexual.
They got so many new names now.
Sapiosexual. Now, sapiosexual, I think is pretty neat. Which I think it's sapo. Is it sapiosexual or something like that? Which it says a woman is. What did she say? She's more turned on by your intelligence than your physical attraction. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty cool. But all the rest of that, all them sexuals. We had a discussion. We were talking about that the other day about all these new names to different type of things. I don't get it. And I guess it's not for understand because, like you said, like Casey says, you know, old school. Everybody, you know, people got old school value. You know, it ain't like you trying to live in this new school world.
Right.
Even though we have to deal with it, but it's still not something that I have to put my life into and say, oh, I gotta get with the trend. No, I don't have to get with the trend. As long as I'm happy in my situation, in my marriage, and that's all that matters to me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Even though I'm not married, but for everybody else, exactly.
Yeah, but you know, but like I said, but you know, it's a lot of things. A lot of things have changed. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Going back to dating, we had a thing about it back in the day about when we was talking about intimacy. You know what I'm saying? What is the true meaning of intimacy? You know what I'm saying? And people, some people now probably you would talk to them, they would probably say, "Oh yeah, man, we ain't having sex." Who said anything about sex? You know, you don't know the true meaning. That's what I'm saying. It goes back to the value. To live together without marriage. Yeah. Well, that's definitely old school way, Casey. You know what I'm saying? They said live together without marriage. But okay, I have a question, Casey, since you mentioned that. Now, that probably was I'm not saying I'm disagreeing, but I would say if you're in a relationship and you don't stay with a person, how do you really know how that person is if you don't stay with them? Or even go to the, like, say, for instance, if just say if sex man has somebody and the guy always come to your house, at some point she gonna want to go to your house, see what's going, what you got going on too. You know, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, you know, you don't be with that person and you don't stay with that person. You don't know what they're, you know, what they actually do, or are they clean? Are they dirty? Because you tell me, oh, I'm coming over your house tonight. Okay, well, shit, it'd probably be like a pigsty, but then I'm gonna clean up. I mean, you know, that's what I say. You know what I'm saying? It might be like a pig, it might be like a pigsty, but I go, hey, I'm going to clean up. And then at that point, then I know, you know what I mean, whatever. But how would you know that how that person is? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, granted, you might say, okay, like Chris and his wife, you know, you probably say, you stayed a couple days of mine, I stayed a couple days of yours, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Erica, she stayed a couple of mine, I stayed a couple of hers. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, you know, we learn that, you know what I'm saying? You learn people. So, I mean, at what, you know, that's why I say it goes back to at what point do you set those, that level of dating, you set those expectations. I mean, I wouldn't say expectation, higher expectations. Like, say, for instance, if it's in most instilled in, I would say Sexy Man, I would say Casey and Frank and Johnny. Old school way is, if they come to your house and y'all dating, whatever the case may be, you know, you see something, not saying you're going to clean up behind a grown man, but it's just automatically in your mind and your body, you're going to want to go clean up something. Or, you know, you're going to pick up something. Or y'all might go eat and she might go wash the dishes. You see what I'm saying? So those are the little things that probably be already instilled in them because that's what they were raised on. I'm not saying it's a requirement, but it might be something that they want to do on their own. What do you tell them? No, I would probably say, no, don't worry about it. I'll go in there and take care of them because of course.
Somebody told me that too. I got it. I do it.
Right. Or, you know, just, okay, something simple. Say, guy come to your house, you know, you hadn't got to it yet and then take out your trash. Do you feel like, you know, would you think it'd be commendable if a man go in and say, oh, hey, where's your trash? Where's your trash? Where your dumpster at? Let me go ahead and take out your trash. That's kind of like,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. I get it. But that's how, okay, I'm just saying, I'm gonna give her an example, like me and Eric. When I would go to the house and like she had trash, I would just go grab the trash and go take it down to the dumpster. That was just automatic for me. She did it on her regular, on her own, but it was like, if I'm there and I'm chilling and I'm relaxing, guess what? Well, how hard would that be for me to take her trash out?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or if she might be going to get groceries. Do I just sit there and just watch her bring them in the house? Or do I go down there and help?
Yep.
Now, how would you look at a man if you come in with groceries? Would you look at him any differently if he just sit there and watch you take them, like you stay upstairs and then you got so many groceries and he just watch you take them back up and tell me, oh, baby, okay, you don't need no help. Okay, good. And he started go back to watch TV doing whatever he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So that's the little things I'm talking about, you know, at what level do you get any higher? Now, it's not a requirement for a man to come take your trash out, or it's not a requirement for you to come to a man require you to go in and wash his dishes. But there again, where are when do you set that, you raise that level up for it to be required? So now 3 months go by, okay, 6 months go by, a year come by. Now, do you level up and tell him when he come by your house and he's right there and y'all still dating, is it a requirement for him to take your trash out, or do you still think that you're going to still maintain to keep your trash out and you go take trash out while he's sitting on the couch? Hold on for a minute. Hold on.
I think he's supposed to do that. My wife did that trash. She did the trash. She fixed stuff. I ain't had to do nothing.
No, and I get it, and that's what I'm saying. That's some things that people has already instilled in them. They just feel like, you know what I'm saying, because it's just like you were raised a certain way. You know what I'm saying? You know, You know, now when you was probably younger, you'd be like, boy, you forgot to take that trash out. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, man, it's like certain things. That's what I'm saying when it goes back to when I asked that question about requirement. Is that a requirement after a certain period of time for him to come in your house and take out your trash, or you to go to his house and wash his dishes?
Yeah.
Or just say, for instance, some women, when they leave, they actually can go in your house. Y'all laid in the bed, she automatically make your bed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's things, because it's like support man rules or requirement when you was younger. You get out that bed, you make that bed up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like different things. So that's what I'm saying. It goes back. I'll keep reiterating that because I'm thinking like, you know, the expectation part of it. Where do your expectations, you know, get higher at what point? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no time limit because you can't put a time limit on it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't put over time. I don't know, Casey. I don't know. It said device not connected or something. I don't know what that means.
Because my old friend, when I would go to his house and he would cook, I would try to watch this. He'd be like, I got it. I was like, okay, I was going to do it for you. Then one day I was like, I'm going to come and clean your house. I don't need you to clean my house. I'm like, okay, I'm going to clean your house for you.
Okay, so did you feel that was something that because you just wanted to do it, or did you think you wanted to do it, but it wasn't a requirement?
No.
Okay.
I mean, to do it, I felt like it needed to be done.
Be done, right. My daughter will. Let me see if did it come up now. Okay, there she go. Sister Casey, how you been? How you doing?
How are you, Shaq? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic, man. Love
you. All right, Casey?
I'm good. I'm good. Did y'all hear me without an echo?
No. You have no echo.
I have an echo?
No.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go down there with Casey.
Okay. What I wanted to say
because she was tired
is that I will never encourage young people just starting out with life. Okay? And I have a reason for that. I got married at 19. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
My first husband. And what we did, just so that we could get to know each other and know that if this marriage was going to be for us, and I'm sharing with you my life experience with you. And it was a great experience knowing that I was able to do this when I was 19 years old. Do y'all hear a lot of noise in the background because I have my TV on and everything?
No,
and I don't want. And I'm just having this discussion because I want to help somebody out. You know, because there's so many people out here encouraging young people on a wayward path. You know what I'm saying? To be encouraged by a wayward path. And I say a wayward path is that I don't encourage young people to do that. That's why we have the problem that we have today in society.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is we turn away from what God directs us to do, and we want to do it our way. But us as elders and adults, and when we're dealing with our young people through our experiences that we had, we are to put them on the right path. And the thing is that I will never encourage a young girl to ever put herself in that situation. She can get pregnant. Okay?
Are you talking about
give up her life? As far as like her career goes or whatever, to put in her life and it's a family, and she becomes angry at herself when this man starts to go out there and roam around and get involved with other females. Okay? And then what happens to that is that it comes down on the child. Because she's stuck with that child. And mentally, she's going to be so messed up with a lot of things that she can't pour her love into her child. Because of what she's going through, so angry with herself of the choices that she made. So I would never encourage a young girl or a young man to put himself in a position to hurt her life, to destroy her life like that. And I will never encourage a young girl to put herself in a position to be destroyed like that. First of all, get to know who you are as two people. Now, I will encourage you, if you want to live together, at least make it a marriage first. You don't have to have an extravagant wedding. You don't have to have nothing big, nothing, with the big weddings, with the altar at the church or nothing. You can go to the justice of the peace just to start your lives out together and give yourselves at least a goal.
Oh, Casey, can I
to work towards the real deal? You know what I'm saying? Go to the justice of the peace and then engage yourself in this marriage.
Casey, let me ask you this. Casey, this is strict. Only because I've been quiet a lot because I going through my own little thing. But
because this engagement stuff, living together stuff, it doesn't work. And we all have experience. We all know through some experiences with people. And I especially do not encourage any young girl to do that to her life. Because what you think is love is not love right now.
Casey. Let me ask you this. I only because now don't put your knife away, because I hear you saying young girls, and I heard you say young boys also.
Exactly. Do not destroy each other's lives like that. You see the baby mama drama every day. Now today, this is a time now that young girls, you have to be more transparent. You know what I'm saying? Because we see today a lot of young women are dying in the hands of their boyfriends and their baby daddies.
Is that mutual?
Okay.
Is that mutual or is it just the same?
It's deep. Spiritually is deep, Shaq. It's deep. Okay? And these are the reasons why it's happening. Because they really don't know who they are.
Casey, is that mutual or is it just on one side?
I was just about to ask.
It's mutual. It's mutual.
Hold on. Is that these are two individuals that engage in a relationship, whether it be for
I don't believe in this engagement bullshit. Okay? Either you're going to get married and you both going to work on a goal together, to raise a life together, to do a family thing together, and to build a life together, or not. That it is what it is. It is what it is. This is,
I didn't say engagement. I said engage.
The engagement part should be the justice of the peace.
No.
Take your love for each other. If y'all want to be together and y'all feel y'all gonna have this, I don't believe in no fucking engagement.
Hello.
Okay.
Engagement. Never mind.
I'm talking from experience. Okay, I'm 56 years old. This happened to me when I was 19. Okay.
Well, okay. Let me ask you a question, Casey. Now, because
and I'm giving this testimony to help somebody's young daughter out there, somebody's son out there.
I'm asking you, is it mutual? Is it mutual or is it just?
It was mutual. So me and my husband both agreed.
Wait. We're not talking about a specific.
And I thank God for him on that part. I thank God that he did not stick me with a family and I was left alone to raise a family by myself. That is why it was mutual. Okay, we both wanted to work on our goals in our marriage to each other for those 5 years that we was together, for the 5 years. And if we got past 5 years, we wanted to have the big shebang. That means go to the church and have the bridesmaids, the grooms, and everybody else to witness
Casey,
our marriage.
Casey,
I don't believe in people living together without any contract. I'm sorry. I just don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Because eventually the woman is always going to be, I want a contract, period. Okay? I want a contract. If we get married and you stick me with a child, we want to have that child through marriage. And whatever you want to move on and do what you want to do, you still have a responsibility to the life that you left behind. That's it. I'm not going to allow you to put a baby on me. You could just walk away freely and I have to go through this court system to get child support from you. No, we're going to put in that contract. Whatever life you left with me, you still responsible for. You can do what the fuck you want to do. But one thing you ain't going to do is fuck this child up. You ain't gonna leave this child without us having a roof over our head. That's when it comes in with alimony. Okay, whether it's going to be the justice of the peace or whether it's going to be going through the church. Okay, it is what it is. You're not going to stick me with a child because that's what's going to happen when you having sex. Okay, you're going to have sex, and eventually, guess who's going to get pregnant? The woman. Okay, the woman is. And the thing is that I'm going to make sure my child going to be taken care of before you take another walk somewhere else to have a life somewhere with somebody else and leave me stuck with the bag. The fuck with that bullshit about just getting engaged and we gonna live together. That don't work in the courthouse. It don't work. It don't work like that. Then I have to deal with you with child support? No.
Casey.
Hell no. You're gonna be right there on that contract that when we get married, we had this child through marriage, and whatever responsibility to that child's life is not just only gonna be on me, it's gonna be on you too.
Casey.
And that will stop niggas from being out here making babies they know they can't afford, know they ain't gonna take care of, then trying to cut my life short or take my life out. No, no. I would never encourage my son to put himself in that situation, and I will never encourage my young daughter to do that to her son.
Casey.
All right, what do you gotta say, Shaq?
Okay. Let me ask you, Casey.
But what if you teach your kids that though, and they still go out there?
Then that's the life I'm going to model for my child. That's why I don't have a child. Because when me and my husband got married, okay, the thing was, if we could get past 5 years of our marriage, okay, and agreeing on the fact that we want to have a family, then that would happen. But within that time, if I see any shady moves that you making, we're out of here. You could go your way, I could go my way, and we don't have to deal with each other. As long as there's a child involved, we're gonna deal with each other. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey Casey, let me ask you a question. So I understand what you're saying that you wouldn't encourage, because now remember,
I would never encourage that lifestyle. Right. Never.
But what kids are doing today, or even
I don't care what kids are doing today. I'm talking about me. I don't care what kids are doing today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a message out there to any young person who might come across this video and might want to hear this. If they are considering to make that type of life choice for themselves, then I'm going to save somebody's child. Don't do it.
Well, I mean, but again,
don't do it.
Some Strick said that made a lot of sense. He said, if you come to, is it mutual? And I get what he was saying about mutual.
And if you go to the Bible, Mary was a young girl without a husband when she conceived her pregnant, when she was, pregnant or whatever. Okay? And so that she would not become a public example, a disgrace to the public. Guess what Joseph did? He took her in marriage. And there's a reason for that. And after a while, you notice that Joseph's life disappeared, but Jesus still was taught how to survive, how to take care of his mother, how to take care of himself, and everything else in his family. If you go through the Bible, if you go deep in his story, there's a reason for that. Okay? Because the woman should never be left. A woman should never be left without protection and without security.
Okay? I totally agree with all that too, but sometimes things just happen. I mean, that's the way it goes. Sometimes. I mean, things happen.
Talk to your kids all you want to talk to your kids till your hair turn blue, and they still gonna go out there and do what they want.
If they go out there, as long as you teach them what I'm saying to you, don't encourage it. All I'm saying is don't encourage it.
Oh, okay.
Regardless of what decisions they make, you as an elder and as an adult and through experience, and I'm talking through experience as an elder, okay, I will never encourage young people to make those choices. If anything, I'll say get married, especially to my daughter. I will say get married. Okay? Because anywhere he goes in life, still whatever he gets belongs to you. Even if he wants to leave this marriage and go on and marry somebody else, the first wife should always be taken care of. Point blank, period. Okay? Point blank, period. If he wants to move on and do what he want to do and go get another wife or go start another family, but make sure your child is always going to be secured and make sure you're going to be secured and make sure your life is going to be good. I don't give a shit what he going to do after we got married. My child going to be taken care of first because the first wife should always get everything. Okay? And that's in the African Proverbs. Ask any African.
We be the Americans.
Okay? The first wife should always get everything in her child. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he want to move on and get another wife, he want to have another son, you didn't have a son from him in the first son, whatever. That first wife should always get the first choice. So she should be queen bee.
If she move on?
She don't have to. Well, once she raised her child and everything, she could do what the hell she want to do. But she gonna make sure that child gonna be secure.
No.
She's gonna make sure that child gonna have no problems of getting whatever that child needs to get from her father or his father. Okay, if it's a boy child or a female child, I'm not discriminating here, but the thing is that she still got to be left with the scars. She got to still be left with the stretch marks, blase. Everything a woman got to have to be dealing with. And even even when men run through her or whatever like that, that child will always have what he got to inherit from the father. And that's it. It is what it is.
What if she?
They got programs and internet today. That baby gonna be okay.
No, because I would never encourage young people to make that kind of choice. Now, if they go on their own and want to do it, as long as you teach them and you show them the way, it's up to them. But the one thing I'm not going to do is encourage it. When they become of age and they want to go their own way, as long as you're not encouraging it, I'm not encouraging it. That's it. And I know that young people are going to want to try to test you. They're going to run through. They gonna want to go and out there. My mother told me. Don't think my mother didn't tell me, but one thing my mother said when I married my husband, who was quite older than I was at the time and from a different culture and everything. Mommy said, secure yourself. She says, I'm let you make your choice. You an adult. This is the choice you made. But I'm not gonna encourage the fact. But one thing my mother was proud of the fact that I was getting married. And he wasn't no man I was just gonna go move in with and live with and all that other shit. Hell to the freaking no. Because that's not what my mother did. That's not what my mother and my father did. Okay. They got married. And I'm my mother's eighth child.
This is bad. But I mean, I get your point.
My parents were married. My grandmother and grandfather was married. My grandmother told me all that. My daddy told me all that. I still went out there and had my 2 kids. And so my daughter don't have no kids till she married, get you a college degree, all that before you even have kids. You think she listened to me, because my baby got 3. My son have none and he's the oldest. You can install all that in your kids and you don't have to say, no, go out there and have sex. Go out there and have kids. No. Who wants to tell their daughter to go out there and have kids, have sex? Nobody
wants to tell their child that. But what I'm saying to you, who I'm speaking to?
That's
Sabrina.
Huh? Sabrina. What I'm saying, your parents told you. That's all their job was to do. They were married. They warned you. And you made your choice. That's it. But they didn't encourage it. They didn't encourage it for you.
No, she didn't. No, they didn't. I had my son.
That's the choice you made. That's the choice you made.
Yes, that's the choice that I made. Exactly. I didn't have him at 15, 17. No, I had my son at 22 and my daughter at 24 because I was ready to have kids. Because I knew I could take care of my kids.
Because you knew you were going to be by yourself to take care of them kids by yourself. You can't blame the man because you made the choice. But I'm not going to put myself in that situation.
But no, I wouldn't tell nobody to put themselves in that situation. But what
I
I'm
will
saying
never
to
encourage
you is,
anybody's child or
you know,
glamorize the life of being a single parent.
Casey,
I would
you're not
never, I will
listening.
never,
You're not
ever
listening to me because you're
encourage
trying
it.
to
I don't even
talk
go to
me.
baby
What I'm
showers.
saying
If you're not
is,
married, I will not support your baby shower. Period. Okay?
but what I'm saying to you is, you're not listening
It
to
is
what
what
I'm
it
saying.
is.
See
And
how
I'm
you
I'm done
talk
bearing
to me.
children. Okay? I'm done with that
And,
life part of life. But right
and
now, while I'm here, I have a job to do. Okay? God put me through a situation, so put me through something so I can help somebody else. I went through what I went through so I could be there to help somebody else. Now, those who want to make that choice, that's on you. But don't come crying to me, nigga, done did you bad. You got to take them to child support, blood test, and all that other shit. I don't want to hear it, especially when you already know. You already made that choice. Okay? But I'm not going to encourage anybody's daughter or anybody's son to get a girl in trouble like that or to cause a life like that for his child that he was not married to the mother of this child. You understand? And then on top of that, I would never encourage my daughter to put herself in a situation and let her do that to her. I'm going to say what I say, and it's up to them to make whatever choice they want to make. But don't come crying to me with no single mother bullshit, okay? I don't want to hear it. Especially once I already told you, not to you, Sabrina, but to the young people out here who might be listening.
mm-hmm.
Don't. I'm not going to support that kind of. I'm not going to support that kind of moral behavior. Okay, I'm just not going to support it. And I
But
don't go to baby showers. Okay, I used to when I was a young person and I didn't know any better. I supported my baby showers, godmother bullshit.
So you mean to tell me? So hold on. You mean to tell me that if we
Because God has shown me to use my
can
wisdom,
I step in there
my
somewhere?
wisdom.
Can I step
Hey,
in there
Casey.
somewhere?
Hold up for a second. I don't know. Strick was trying to say something.
Yeah. Hey. So you mean to tell me if an individual isn't married, if they're not consummated in the legal civil engagement of marriage, then they have
I
no.
don't believe in engagement. You don't get it. I don't believe in that shit because I never got engaged. I got married. Period.
Can I
Casey,
finish?
no, she said, "Can you let him finish?" Casey, we're gonna give you the flow.
I didn't never get engaged. I got married. When I was a young girl, I got married. I didn't get engaged. It wasn't none of that bullshit. You ain't gonna get engaged to me and say just because we engaged, we are legally right to have sex and get pregnant, and then all of a sudden the engagement break up and you walk out of my life and I'm left there with a baby. Chicken no. I got married. Period. Forget the engagement.
Miss Casey, that's an individual thing, right?
The engagement to me is when we're dating and we're still trying to figure each other out.
That's individual.
That's the engagement.
Casey.
No.
I get
no,
you.
you're not going to convince me. I'm 56 years old. There's no way you're going to convince me, especially when
no, nobody's trying.
I got a kid, 34. Listen, would you shut up and listen for a second? Is all I'm asking. Just listen. I understand your point, and I'm glad, and I respect your point. But geez, come on, you got to listen to other people for a second. You can't just run on and on and on and not assume that there's a different opinion. All I'm saying, I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm simply saying is that that's your experience, dear. That's your experience. That does not conclude, it doesn't capitalize everybody's experience. You have to be able to listen to other people's experience to assume or understand what's going on. Because your experience isn't exactly everybody else's experience. Doesn't make your experience wrong. It just makes that it's your experience. And all I'm saying is slow down. Let's check it out. Because guess what? Everybody has a different life experience. Your life experience was tragic or good. The reality is that everyone has a different experience. We have to be able to incorporate everyone else's life in a situation. You can't just go through just yours, because yours by itself does not significantly define everyone else's. So we talk and we gather information. You take information, you go, oh wow, that happened to Miss Casey. That ain't right. Hey, Casey, that's some messed up stuff. So what we got to do is try and figure out a way to make it different. But you can't just look at one situation. Strickland's situation is far different than yours. And I can tell you, I've been through a lot of stuff. But the reality is that my situation is my situation. You have to be able to be willing to hear other people's situation to determine whether there's something that can be done differently. That's all it is. It's not just one thing she dropped off. I see, but the reality is it's not just everybody else's. It's just not.
Like you said, though, Strick, I agree with you. You're saying gather your information.
Here on the blog, and even listening to this.
Yeah, you gather your information, and then you take because like a person, it's just like you take a little bit from this person, you take a little bit from that person, take a little bit from that person. You know what I'm saying?
And the other day, ain't nobody saying what you saying is not right. I respect you because it's
absolutely
supposed to be a married person have kids. I get that, but everybody is just not like that. Everybody this young, especially the generation now, ours was a little different, even though we still had kids without marriage. My grandmother and mama taught me that. My daddy told me that from a little kid.
Girl, I'm a
You see
product
what
of
I'm saying?
I'm a product
But
of
then I still went out there and had my 2 kids. I taught my daughter and my son that, but my daughter still went out there and had kids. You think I'm gonna turn my back on my motherfucking daughter because she had kids? You crazy than a motherfucker.
Yeah, you're not gonna do that for anybody. You shouldn't do that because the social understanding of those that have children in wedlock and outside of wedlock is one thing. That is a moral concept. A moral concept.
But everybody go to the Bible on what they want to go to the Bible on. You're gonna go to the Bible. Let's go to the Bible on everything that what you said, though.
In many different languages. The reality is that look, there is a moral compass that we tend to go by on a lot of different levels. But the fact is that each individual has their own moral compass. What's sensible for you may not be sensible for me. I'm not trying to knock Miss Casey. The reality is this, is that her situation is her situation. We all have different situations. Shaq has a situation. I have a situation. All have to be evaluated differently. And I think it's unfair to just conclude that either the male or the female did this or did that. I believe it takes two. And if it takes two, there are two consenting individuals. And if you're unconsenting, it's a different situation. We won't even go there because we know that truly is a different situation. But come on, you can't just go out there and arbitrarily say that, yo, young man, I don't want my daughter to this and I don't want my daughter. I got daughters. Hell, but you know what? They spread them just like them boys spread them. The reality is that they make decisions that may not be viable for them at the point in time in their own maturation rate because kids don't always mature at the same level. So let's not.
Strick, I don't mean to cut you off, brother. This is what I want to say. Now, I see Casey said she mentioned something about young adults make better choices in love. You got grown individuals make bad choices in love. So it's not just young people. And I know we're basing it on it because some older people are lost causes. They're not going to change.
They're some lost causes. Some of them.
Yeah, some of them are lost causes. So, but you have to look at, you can only, like you said, you can only go on your experiences. Like I said, I had all my kids, well, except one out of wedlock. You know what I'm saying? Did that make me a different individual because I had these children out of wedlock?
Did you get a different result?
So what now?
Did you get a different result?
No, you get a different result.
Well, that's the exact point. The reality is that regardless of whether you are in matrimony or not matrimony, are you with an individual that will allow you to conducively raise a child to your both liking, to the liking of both of you? That's the question. And sometimes we're incompatible in those situations. But it's not fair to just assume that whether it be the male gender or the female gender is doing or not doing. Reality is that this is a collaborative effort. And I just can't stand by and act as if, yo, this boy or this girl or this no, they did this together. I have an 18-year-old son who's having a child right now. And I am extremely disappointed. Absolutely, unbelievably, extremely disappointed. But at the same time, it's a present. It is now that is here that this child will come. And what we have to do, what we have continued to do during the course of our generations, is we would deal with situations as they come. We do what we have to do as parents. We do what we have to do as grandparents. We do what we have to do in general. But we will not negate the fact that reality is what it is. Kids, adults make poor decisions They do on every level.
Consistently.
And point blame.
Yeah. And I would agree. And I agree 100%. You know, but I just like I would agree too, though, Strictly, when you said that, you know, mutual. That is, I mean, if it's I wouldn't tell a young person. No, first of all, it's hard to already tell them.
Right now, I'm going to tell a young person go out there and have sex and have a baby and don't get married. Who the fuck would do something
where
like
is it
that?
going to work, though? Hey, 6 May, where is it going to work? How is it going to work? Hey, look here. You look, young boy, young girl. Don't y'all have them? You know them feelings you got were going on. Don't act on those feelings, because it's just not going to work. Which one of the individuals that said that to their kids were successful? Tell me. I'm waiting, because I want to know. Ain't one of them said that was successful. It's not about. It's just not possible. The reality is that kids will engage in things that adults engage.
They're gonna do what they want to do.
So what we have to do is provide them with the information and the opportunity to be able to express themselves. At the same
no, I don't praise that they do what they want to do. No, I don't praise that neither. But at the same time, I'm not going to turn my back on my babies. I'm not.
Well, you know, that can be taken many ways. That can be taken many ways, Miss Sexy. The reality is this: if your child is wrong, if you don't express to the fact that your child is wrong, you are doing this just as much a detriment as society is doing to them.
Have a good night.
So at some point, we have to be able to acknowledge an individual is wrong, regardless of our love and affection for them. We have to be able to say that, baby, you're wrong. You got to correct this. If you don't correct this, I'm not going to stand by you while you do something that is incorrect. Now, that is the choice that it's very hard for Black moms to say, I'm not going to stand by you when you do something that is contrary to society, it's contrary to our ethics, it's contrary to our morals. That is a problem that I have. If we stand by them, irregardless of their actions, you know what we're showing them? Their actions hold no relevance to what society is expecting of them and what you're expecting of them. And that's the problem that I have. The problem that we as a society will continue to have unless moms and dads sit there and acknowledge an individual for their actions and say, look here, I love you, but check this out. I will not love and support you if you do things that are contrary. Huh?
Yeah,
I'm not going to support no bullshit.
And that's the thing. Well, when you say bullshit, you say bullshit in the general sense. Your bullshit and our bullshit are different. But what we need to say is if you're going to do things that are contrary to what society is allowed to be legal or illegal, then I will not support you. Now, that doesn't mean that, look, oh, you're smoking weed and I'm going to report you. No, I'm saying that if there are things that are going to affect the lifestyle and quality of living of individuals, then guess what? I will not support that behavior, period. And mom, dad, I don't care what it is, you ain't supposed to support that.
You don't? You definitely don't. But I guess, like I said, though, Strick, I mean, and you guys have such valid points, man. But I think, you know, children, and I think we have all experienced this, man, because, you know, again, just like Sex may say, regardless of what you tell them, they're gonna do what they want. Most of them gonna do. You instill it in them. You give them the blueprint, and what they do with the blueprint, do they continue building, or do they just don't even look at it and try to go their own path?
It's their choice. Whatever they choose to do with the blueprint, it's their choice. You know, but to just go ahead and co-sign behavior. Now I've experienced this personally, Sexy Man, where my ex-wife, she would co-sign our child's behavior regardless of what he did or didn't do. She co-signed his behavior. And the problem there is that you are teaching a young man in a society that has no relevance or respect for him that he can do what he wants, because guess what? At the end of the day, mom co-signs it. No, that's not right. It's not helpful. It's only going to hurt him at the end of the day. We want to support our children. We want to break our backs to make sure our kids are all right. But at the same time, if we co-sign something that we know in our heart is wrong, but they're doing it, shit, all we doing is setting them up for failure.
Yeah, that co-signing on some stuff that's negative is detrimental to them. That could be detrimental to everyone around them, their family, whatever. I'm definitely not co-signing. I don't care if you're child or not. I mean, because wrong is wrong, is right is right.
We have to sit back and look at the situation from in its total presence. Reality is that there are individuals, male and female, that support our children regardless of their negative behavior. We can't do that. We can't make excuses for it. You have to look at it and say, look, baby, this is what's wrong. Now, if they continue to do it, what? We have to continue to say it's wrong. If we don't, we are only setting them up. But I have to applaud. I've seen it so many times. I think we've all seen it. More cases than not, we see it with women only because of their nurturing nature. Okay. The reality is that even though you have this nurturing nature, does not mean that you substitute that nurturing nature for common sense and reality. It's not fair. It's not fair to the child, whether it be male or female. It's not fair to the relationships that you have outside of that. It's not fair to a marriage. It's not fair to relationships and boyfriend, girlfriend. If you're not going to support things that are sensibly right, what do? Come on, man. I mean, Sexy May, do you know what it's like to be a 16-year-old male?
Say again.
You have a son?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's like to be a 5-year-old male?
No.
You know what it's like to be a 10-year-old male?
No.
And it goes on. And the reality is that there are men out here, not all good, but there are men out here that have the idea, and we know what it's like. What problems that I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, mind you, Sexy Man. I'm gonna put my video on. My personal opinion is that, look, when people in relationships tend to push their children towards their feelings of relationships, that becomes more of a problem than it should be. We need to give our children the opportunity to experience and understand things for what they are, not for what we want them to be. Because I had some horrible situations with women. Really horrible situations. I've had some great situations, and I've had some selfish, god darn, you're an ignorant ass male situations too. I've had them all. But the reality is that you grow, we mature, we develop. And when we start to express things that are significant to our children's lives, whether it be male or female, we have a perspective that we want to share that is beneficial to them. But we don't get that opportunity sometimes, because sometimes we're so confused with the relationship that we had with the individual we bore the children with that we confuse that with the reality of what we have to do for our kids. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. And it's so consistent. Look, I'm a good man. I know I'm a good man. I know that I have the potential to do what I need to do for my children, my family, and so on and so forth. But the reality is the woman that I'm compared or mated with doesn't share that. Whether it be the woman or the man, let's clarify that. Whether it be the woman or the man, if you don't share those same ideals and views, there will only be problems. But when it becomes combative, when it becomes, yo, I'm trying to tell you, and no, you don't understand, and yeah, well, I'm trying to explain to you that if we've been through it, shit, it's a lot easier to try to tell somebody. But if you trust me to be your man, how can you not trust me to be the father of your child?
Right.
It's disturbing. And what we fail to realize is that, you know what? Look, there are a lot of individuals that have problems with relationships, but those relationship problems are mutual. They're not synonymous with male or female. They're communication, the lack of understanding, the lack of care, the lack of love, the lack of, whether it comes from one side or the other. It's important to be able to acknowledge those things. Don't dismiss them. If you sit there and you say, it's just, hey, look, if this boy wouldn't have done this, then this wouldn't happen. If this boy wouldn't have done that, or this girl, yo, baby, let's be real. They all were doing this together. Mm-hmm. It's together. So we can't point fingers. I'm not pointing the finger at the female. I'm not pointing the finger at the male. What I am saying is that we have to come to some kind of understanding. Be willing to hear You can't lead if nobody hears. You can't even follow if nobody hears. So at some point, we got to hear each other. We have to hear each other. We have to be willing to say, I'm going to shut up and listen. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to listen. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to listen to you, Sexy May, because I want to know where you coming from. What makes you tick? What makes you say, hey, I'm in a good place. Hey, I'm in a bad place. Yo, let's talk about it. Let's not dismiss it. Let's not make excuses for it. Let's try and figure it out so that way we can work together. But if we can't work together, there's no sense in trying to accomplish a family shit or a relationship because we can't work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I take the camera off? Because I'm very uncomfortable.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Strickland.
I'm very uncomfortable. Look, listen to Casey and I got a little frustrated, and I'm not trying to point fingers, but the reality is this: everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an experience. Those experiences are dictating our opinion. So all I can say is that your opinion is valid. It's important, but it's not everybody else's because everybody has experiences, man.
Everybody's story is not the same.
Yeah, shit. I can tell you 1,000 stories about some women that I feel like could have done differently. Doesn't make it was right or wrong. Hell, I know 1,000 stories where I could have done better. But it's just important that we not sit there and just point fingers at specific genders or whatever it may be.
Well, see, but that goes back to what you said about growth and maturity and holding yourself accountable.
Yeah,
like you said,
accountable, man.
Yeah, because if you put yourself in account, have that accountability, then I could have done this different. I could have done this different. It's not like that you could reach back and make that better, but moving forward, that's all you can do. And moving forward,
Jack, you got to be able to acknowledge accountability.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
If you could ignore, one of the things I find that women tend to do on occasions, and people tend to do on occasions, is that I'm an old man, okay.
You ain't old, bro.
Well. In perspective is what I'm saying. The reality is that I've had relationships where they said, "Well, you got a bad memory. You don't remember this." I told you, but you don't remember this. Well, hold on now. You ain't gonna remember everything. Certain things that transpire that may be monumental to your relationship, you're gonna remember. Problem is that individuals in certain aspects of a relationship are so used to saying, you ain't gonna remember. You don't know. You got a bad memory. Women, Sexy May, I'm gonna take you at your word. Let me ask you, is there something that that can be said and there's no answer to that response? There's no response to that answer saying you don't remember nothing. Because a lot of times we don't, because we put things in a concept. What's important and what's not. I can tell you right now, birthdays are not important to me. Birthdays aren't important to me. Ain't no sense in me trying to act like birthdays are important because they're not. I don't remember anybody's birthday, whether it be my kids, my wives, my anniversaries. They don't mean shit to me because I'm constantly on the grind and trying to make every day better than it was yesterday. So our idea and our memory about dates and what have you, I lose them all the time. Don't know what they are. If you ask me, when did I get married? Don't know. Hey, I'm being honest because it's not something that I sit there and think about. What day of the month did I get married? No, I don't give a shit. I married a woman that I love and I keep on going. Now, a woman may say, this day right here, this November so-and-so, this the day we got married. Because it's special. What makes them special to us are not dates. If you think a date is special to a man, I'm going to tell you right now, you're a fool. Because we could remember nothing about a date. We don't care. Doesn't matter. It's not. No, correction. Let me not say we don't care. Let me say.
Let me say this before you say that. I remember my married day because you ain't gonna get me in no trouble. November 5th, 2016.
No, well, the reality is that you remember it because you don't want to get in trouble, right?
No.
No. Be honest, Shaq. Come on.
No. Seriously, because it was monumental to me.
Well, maybe because it was monumental to you. The reality is that most men do not sit there and go, damn, November so-and-so. That's the date I did so-and-so. Let me hold on to this date because then we're going to celebrate it 364 days from today. Fuck no. Don't. We don't.
No, well,
I don't.
You know, them days are important to women, though.
Okay.
They anniversaries and their birthdays. Not so much Christmas.
But you know what the funny thing about it is? Erica's not big on birthday for her, but she's big on birthday for everyone else. She's not big on Valentine's Day, but she's big on it for everybody else. Like me, meaning like for me. You know what I'm saying? This is something that certain things that, because we look at Valentine's Day is every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
We look at something about our anniversary is the point of us being together to that point again, but it's the point we still together. That's what's important to us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So dates is, to a certain extent, it is, because I'm gonna tell you a funny story. Me and Erica have been married for like 4 years. 4 years at that point. You know, she was no, I take that back. Let me say it was going on a couple years. She was still saying my boyfriend. And I had to be like, well, baby, I'm your husband. And she like, oh, yeah. Not because she didn't look at me as her husband. It was just something that she wasn't used to.
Right.
Did I hold it against her because she didn't say that? No, I did not by far, because I know the love, what she had for me at that point, that's all that mattered to me. You know, like she said, some people say it's just a piece of paper. That might be true in a certain extent, but the point of what you get, now it's like the point she won't stop saying husband.
Well, it's not, and I won't stop saying wife. I hate that Erica will cut me later, but it's not about just saying that.
Erica Strick over here talking mess about you. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
well, because the thing is that it's not about saying or presenting a certain situation. It is who she is. That's who she is. It's her character.
Oh yeah, character. Yeah.
Look, who her character is. It's very easy to be able to say, look, you know what? I understand. If you understand that is her character, I can understand it. See, you would understand that because you're in an intimate relationship with her. So you can understand it. The average bear may not be able to understand that, you know, because they don't know her and definitively understanding who she is. But that's part of who she is. If that's who she is, if you're involved in a relationship and you recognize the individual has certain characteristics, you have to understand them. Look, my situation, let me talk about my situation. My situation, my wife will never acknowledge that she did something wrong. Period. She's never, ever gonna say, I did something wrong, I'm sorry. Because she will always equate her actions to what was necessary. And she will find an excuse for that. That doesn't just happen in a single male or female presence. It happens with certain people and males and their mindset. And if that individual is who they are, all I can say is run. Because you can never be right or not right. You can never come to a situation of understanding because someone wants to be right. I don't need you to be right. I don't need to be wrong. I just need us to come to an understanding on how we communicate. And when you fail to do that, all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable. The inevitable is that you probably don't need to be together. Period.
But you know what, Strick? Funny thing you say that when you mentioned that, you said that very statement. But you remember that song when it said, "If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right." You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of put me in a situation when you said that, and that's a true statement, bro. I would agree with that 100%. And that word spoke volume and spoke a message out to when you said that. And that's the way I feel. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. You see what I'm saying? I really feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
Guess what? If loving you is wrong and you're making me miserable, fuck that, I'll be wrong. Okay? I'll be wrong. I'm dead serious. I'll be fucking wrong. Because the reality is there's no need to be involved in a situation that's contrary to your quality of living. Your quality of living is diminished by the individual you're around. Damn it, if you don't run, you're a fucking fool. You gotta run.
Well, I'm only speaking on my situation.
Well, let's speak on a general situation because your situation is far different. Because you have a very let's clarify something. Erica is far better than you are, and you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
But at the same time, reality is there are so many different people in our society that are subjected to certain situations that are totally contrary to what they need. But they endure it because it's comfortable. It's what they know. And getting in a relationship is hard as shit. Man, getting to know somebody, figure out how they fart, who they smell, or whether they brush their teeth, or whether they don't, or whether they want to, or whether that shit is a headache. It's a headache. You could have great interrelationship or sexual relationship with an individual and then realize, yo, what the fuck? You know, that could happen. It happens. But the reality is that you don't take the time to understand who an individual is that you're procreating with. And look, I ain't got nobody to blame for procreating with a motherfucker that made me miserable. Nobody. I got nobody to blame. I wish I could blame somebody for the individual that I procreated with and say, damn, it's your fault. No, it ain't nobody's fault but my own. Well, it's my fault.
Right.
This is who I did this with. I can't blame the kid. I can't blame the woman. I can't blame anybody. I can't even blame the person that I engaged in a relationship with. Because guess what? Nigga, ain't nobody force you. You did that shit for whatever reason you did it for, and at the same time, you gotta take the consequences for that shit. I gotta take the consequences for marrying a crazy individual. I gotta take the consequences for marrying somebody that made my life miserable. I did that. Ain't no kid do it. My mama ain't do it. Nobody in my family did it. No cousin did it. Nobody did it, but
it wasn't an arranged marriage yet.
It wasn't arranged, damn it. I wish it was because I get the dowry back. But I tell you, it was a mutual fault. You understand what I'm saying?
And I get your point. And I would agree. I agree with you on 100% on that.
Yes, it was mutual. We have to acknowledge our place in this situation. And we do that, we move forward. We don't acknowledge shit, that shit will linger forever.
Right.
I'm ready to get on my bike, y'all.
All right, man. I was just saying, yeah, man. I want to thank each and every one of you guys. Sexy May, it was.
Hey, Casey, you better come back this week, girl.
I appreciate you, Sexy May. I want to appreciate Frankie and Johnny / Pam /
See you.
I appreciate her for holding the chat down, and thank you for holding the chat down too.
Oh, there was some comments on there, huh?
Brother Strick, bro, it's always a pleasure, my brother. Definitely, man. Always great to hear from you, man. And like I said, man, if y'all have any questions, concerns, man, get on the community wall.
Can I say something real quick?
Huh?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Hey, y'all, those of you that suffer from anxiety and depression, man, look, keep fighting that good fight. I fight it every day. It hurts. It's hard. It's difficult. It's more difficult than people will ever acknowledge. All I say is reach out to somebody. Don't let this demon of whatever is going on inside of our heads, because I say our heads because it definitely it deals with, I'm afflicted with it. don't stop. And if you need to reach out, just reach out. Sometimes you don't want to reach out. Sometimes you just want to go on and be in your space. Whatever it requires for you to still be here the day after, hey man, do it. And we're here for you, and I'm here for you. And
absolutely.
Help me.
Great words of wisdom, brother. Like I said, we appreciate you guys and everybody that came in. Like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, we're going to make an email by tomorrow, so that if you might have any questions, that you could email us and we can address it or either speak about it or even a topic.
I do have a question though, bro.
Yes, sir.
You know that individual that won that lottery in Florida?
Nah, I wish.
Oh, okay. I'll just check it.
It was a rich part of Florida too. Anyway, but yeah.
Damn shame.
Yeah, man. But like I said, man, we're gonna make an email up and we're gonna be able to have access to it. And you guys, if you have any questions or any topics that you might want to discuss, or maybe something that we spoke about and you want to elaborate on it, we definitely can do that. Or we look at the email and then definitely come back and probably address it on the next show. So definitely want to tell everybody, God bless. Thank everybody again for coming in, sis. Thank you. Frankie and Johnny, appreciate you, brother Strick. Always a pleasure, brother D, Chris, Casey, all of it. And, you know, hey, we love it. We love this type of situation. But definitely, we'll see you on Friday, Lord's will. All right? Have a good night, everyone.
Peace and hair grease.
All right, bro. Peace. All right, man.